Been a while since I've done a video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Okay, so this video I'm making because, you know, we all see over social media lots of new and exciting pike flies and stuff, and oh, great, that must be the one to catch the biggest pike out there and stuff. And because any expert on whatever club said, oh, this is the one you have to use, well, actually, that's a load of bollocks. I'm going to show you, if you're new to fly tying, especially pike flies, which can be a bit daunting, I'm going to show you a really easy fly to make. And to be honest, it's a fly that I made way back, must have been early 90s, when I had my personal best pike on the fly, which was a 25-pound fish from the River Trent. Never forget that fish, because it was just dawn. You could see in the water's beautiful, clear. I'm bringing the fly back, and all of a sudden, right in front of me, just disappeared. Boom, 25-pound fish right at my feet. Exciting. So for this fly, it's so simple. You know, anybody could do this fly, and it catches fish. And it caught my PB. So what you're going to need is some marabou in white, some marabou in red. You're going to need a little bit of crystal flash in silver, and you're going to need a pair of 12mm eyes. Get those all over eBay. Just plain old epoxy eyes, and a 6.0 long shanked hook, whichever one you like, whatever brand, because pretty much they all come out the same factory, so call it what you want, you know, it comes out the same factory, so don't be fooled. And you'll need your tying thread. I'm pretty much going with a mono. I just like tying a mono. You know, most of my flies are tied with that now. And need some varnish or some glue, and that's about it. So what we're going to do, we're going to start a way back. Get some turns on there, like so. Okay, so we'll just bring that up so it's just about level with the point of the hook. Okay. So we're going to take a piece of marabou, like so, just one piece like that. And then we're going to cut just, see it about there, like so. Now we're going to add a little bit of varnish. Now the reason, you can use glue if you like, I just tend to use the varnish because it's easier. It's on my desk here, on there, and it protects against abrasion, it protects against teeth a bit, you know, gives you a longer lasting fly, as much as you can with pike, you know. Okay, so then on the top, some wraps round like so, and that's going to be your tail. Okay, so of course the varnish will also stick to this and keep it in place. So what you do when you're tying that down, because it's a marabou feather, what you're actually doing, you're tying down just enough to squash the actual stem there, which is quite easy to do. Once you know your breaking points of your tying threads and stuff, you can kind of get a handle on how much pressure to put on it. So crystal flash. So we're just going to get a little clump like this, and I think, just for those who like to know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's about 10 strands. There's about 10 strands in that. Okay, and we're just going to clip that. Okay. And then I'm just going to pull on the ends just a little bit, just to taper it. Okay. So then when you've done that, if you hold it and you're just trying to get a center, so you've got about the same on each side. Okay. And then we put one side, make it see what you see. So put one side just on there and get a couple of wraps round like so, and that's right along the middle. Okay, and then we take this side and the same again, hold it down and a few wraps around, like so. Okay. Flash and tail. Okay. Now I'm just going to secure that again with a little bit of the old varnish, like so. And now we'll take another piece of marabou, like so. Try and get the marabou so it's quite long, because this helps in the water. Because when you pause the fly, the marabou puffs out. It's very, very enticing. Okay, now here's another tip. What I'm going to do, this is actually going to go around the shank of the hook up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to thumb and forefinger, you can see that, and we'll just break along that main shaft. So you just pinch it and push it down like so. Okay, and that stops it actually splitting and breaking when you're wrapping it on the hook. So we come back and we're going to tie it in just on top like so of the last piece put in, and we're going to bring it down, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's enough pressure on there just to flatten that out a little bit. You can see that. Okay, there's still varnish on there, so that varnish will actually seep through and secure that. So we're going to take this and we're now going to wrap it. So the turns, just hold the end, fold stuff back, bring it round, just one turn on each, one in front of the other, like so. Just pulling the marabou back so it's not facing forward, like so. So when we get to the last wrapping, you just come back a little bit. Like so. And that's pretty much your tail section there. So you can, if you wanted, you can, you know, once you carry on progressing with your fly tying, you can, that tail feather there, you can actually, if you wanted to, you could replace that with something like a longer feather, like a schlapping feather. And again, colour wise, you can do whatever colours takes your fancy, you know. It's all good, but this one again is, you know, one of the ones that I had a great deal of success with in the 90s. It was always my go-to fly because we had very little in the way of synthetic fibres back then. EP fibre I had to order from America. You can imagine the cost of that. So these were pretty much the go-to because marabou was available for the trout guys. Okay, so again, another clump of crystal flash. Again, if you want to use something like flash boo, something like that, totally up to you. I'm tying this simply because this is the fly that I tied back then. This is the pattern that caught with that fish. So again, I'm going to just do the same thing. I'm going to center it up, make sure I'm halfway, center it up. There's probably about 10 strands in there. Use what you like. Okay, just a little bit of pressure. Okay. See, what you actually could do with this as well, if you wanted to, if you wanted your flash differently, if you layer the flash on the top, on the bottom, one at the side, and then push it back, like, you know, like hollow tie style, like that, and the flash will be completely all over. That's just another way of doing it, but again, you know, it's completely up to you. Make something up, do what feels good, not what people tell you. Okay, and we're just going to secure that in, like so. Yeah, we're looking quite good there. Right, I like that. Okay, and we need another marabou feather. Usually, to be honest with you, when I'm buying marabou feathers, I do like to buy kind of a good quality one, because funnily enough, no, they're not all the same. You can get some pretty bad quality out there. So stick with one you know. Stick with a supplier that you've got from regular. Just trying to find a good one because I like to have a good one like that. Plenty of long feathers, and that again helps in the actual movement of the fly in the water. Okay, so we're just going to break the break the back of this again, and just by pushing down, you might be able to hear it cracking there. Okay, and then we get a wee bit of varnish on this. I have been told it's also a very, I mean in this colour, I have been told it's a very good perch fly as well, although I've not caught perch on this, it's always been pike, but I don't see why not. And again, same principle, just add on the top, a little bit of pressure. That varnish will seep into it and it will make it quite secure. The other thing about this fly, which is kind of really good, I don't know if you know, there's a big thing just now where a lot of the lure guys, and indeed even myself, are using flies on lure rods. Mostly with the Cherubusca weights, but obviously with the Cherubusca weights you've got to have, you know, the fly's got to look right, so you've got to have the back colour has got to be facing up as the flies on the bottom. Now a Cherubusca weight, if you don't know, it's just like a clip-on lead weight that goes on the eye. Great things, so versatile, you know, because you can just grab a box of flies, you know, and just go out and use them. You know, maybe it's too windy for a fly rod, or, you know, just fancy wandering down the canal for a few hours, just grab a box of flies, Cherubusca weights, and go. I've got them on the website as well. Yeah, I've got a brand new website. If you look at the end of the video, I'll put the link on there for it, where you can buy flies for fly rods, lure rods. I've got some exciting stuff coming up there soon, so just keep checking back, because I update it as and when I can with new patterns and stuff, and you know, and of course they're all tied by me. Nothing's tied in Africa. Don't like African made flies, fall apart, crap. You know, support your local tie. It doesn't have to be me, I don't care. There's loads of really good tyres out there in the UK. Everyone has a slightly different style. There is some really good guys out there, so don't believe the hype. Just don't buy crap flies made in a mud hut in Africa. You know, if you ask the guy what a pike is, he's got no idea. Probably thinks it's a garden implement. Anyway, right, back to this. So that's that piece in. So we want our last piece of crystal flash. Sorry to go off on a rant there, but it does annoy me. Especially what annoys me is some of these big companies. You know, they were mostly trout flies to start with, and you know, they used to encourage their anglers to kill pike. I know of one water, the company of my name nameless, down on Chalk Stream, where the pike, the company actually went in and killed all the pike, and there you go, the company are now selling pike flies, you know. Yeah, great stuff. Anyway, I have nothing to do with these. Just support your local tyre, people. Just, you know, I mean the thing is, if you see a fly on the internet, we all know about Facebook and stuff. If we see a fly on the internet and we think, oh, that looks really great, that I could really do with that, you know, just message the guy. He may very well do you one. You know, some people like me, it makes up a good part of their living. You know, how they survive. You know, so just mail them. You know, and they very well, you know, just might make you one. Not a problem. If they don't, they'd recommend someone who maybe does. You know, I have had times before where I've had guys, you know, who messaged me saying, oh, this guy will be in touch, he's looking for this particular pike fly. Simply because a lot of guys haven't got the time with working and stuff to be, you know, commercially tying. You know, so just shoot them a message if you see a fly you like. Nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, so now we're going to the head. We're going to go for a red. For some reason, I don't know why, I bought these feathers just as a test buy. The red ones were like kind of shorter than the white ones, which is a bit bizarre, but hey, you know, I mean, for me it's great because I don't want the red ones to be overly long. So again, we're just going to break the back of that. stem tied on there, such. Again, this is a cracking all-round fly. You know, I mean, if someone said to me, you know, you can go off onto a desert island with a pike lake or something, and you can only take one lot of flies with you, I would happily take a box of these. You know, because they're so versatile. Again, like I said, again, you can use them on the lure rods. You know, with the Cherubusca weights. Fantastic. This particular one actually is going to be up on the website at some point. Probably in the next couple of days because I'm off work. Okay, so we're just holding the tips of that and we're just bringing that round. So, just tie that in. And I'm just going to put another one in there. Again, just cracking the back of it, as they say. Again, what that does when you crack the back, it makes it easier to put on. It also stops it, because sometimes a marabou feather, when you put it on and you spin it around the hook, it can actually crack and break. So what you're doing is you're basically breaking that stem just to help it go around and not crack and break. So let's get this. These are just a fantastic fly. I just love these flies. I don't know why I haven't got more of them in my boxes actually. Well, I do. It's because I tie thousands of bloody flies. Maybe I have an afternoon just making these various sizes. You get this on a 6.0, you can do it. You can do it on a smaller hook. No issues with it. Okay. Plenty of wraps around there. That's looking great. So I'm going to put a little varnish on there. I'm going to hold that back and I'm going to just create a nose profile by just put loads of wraps on. Okay, that'll do. Mono thread breaks, don't know merge strength sometimes, so we'll just do that. Excuse me just a minute, that's the wife calling. Oh yeah. Oh, okay darling, I'll watch for you. Okay, no problem at all. Okay, I'll see you shortly, darling. Bye. Sorry about that. That's the wife coming home in her taxi. She picks her moments. Okay. I guess I don't have to leave that in or I'll just edit that out. Who knows? Right, okay. She said she's going to be 5 minutes. Okay, so we'll try and quickly finish it off. So I'm just going to use a quick 5-minute epoxy. You can, if you don't want to go the epoxy route, you can use super glue, whatever you like. And I've just realised I've made a boo-boo actually. The original fly that I made wasn't these eyes, sorry. It was Google eyes. So to go with the original design, I'm going to go with the googly eyes. And again, the googly eyes are they're again about 12 mil. Yeah, they're about 12 mil. Okay, so mix up your epoxy. Well, just noticed. Just a wee bit of thread there. So mix up your 5-minute epoxy. You've got to work quick on this, and I'll push it through. Like so. got any leftover epoxy, just stick it on the nose. That would make that bomb proof. Okay, so we then go an eye, and an eye. Epoxy out of the way. Line those eyes up. And there you go. That is such an easy pattern to make. Love it. You can't go wrong. You'll catch fish with that. Again, thanks very much for looking. And remember, buy local. Stay away from African fly tyers.